Alright guys, welcome back. It's Brendan from the Achievement Apex, and today we need to get these sleeves bored and then we need to calibrate them ready to assemble the bars. It's an early start today. I got up at 1 a.m. It's currently about 3 a.m. So we got to get stuck into work so these bars can be ready on time. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is extend the depth of the bore in this sleeve here to 87mm deep. That's because this sleeve was made when I was using the old mechanism for putting them on the bars. The new mechanism requires them to be a little bit deeper. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'll just touch the edge right here, set the digital readout to 0. Okay, and I'm also going to touch the inside diameter to set the 0 there as well. All right, so this needs to be 87. Okay, we can just check to see if this bushing goes in. Okay, it is currently just a little bit tight, so I'm going to take off another 20 microns and see if it goes in. It does go in where the bore was originally, but right at the end where I extended it, it's not quite big enough. So that bushing fits absolutely perfectly now. All I need to do is cut a relief for the thrust bearing, because in here goes a thrust bearing, and if I don't cut a relief so that thrust bearing has some room to move, the thrust bearing will be taking the weight of all of the weight that goes on the barbell rather than the bushing, which is where we want the weight. So we'll cut a relief for this so that the bushing takes the weight. 77, 67. Okay, now that that is cut, this sleeve is now ready. I'm going to go ahead and take it out and put the other sleeve on and do the same thing there. Okay, I'll just find that 0 point again. So I'll just check that this bushing fits. That is absolutely spot on. Okay, I'll just cut that relief for the thrust bearing and then this sleeve will be done as well. That is squat bar sleeve number 2 complete. Now we can go ahead and put the power bar sleeve into the lathe and extend the depth of the bore there. Before I can do that though, the hole inside the sleeve is ever so smidge too small, so I can't hit the end cap out with this little plastic rod. So I'm going to have to just turn this down a little tiny bit so it fits. There we go. Okay, so now I've turned the outside diameter of this. I was actually very impressed with the little amount of chatter I got from that. So now I should be able to get the end cap out of the sleeve. Okay, now that we've got the power bar set up in the lathe, I can now extend the depth of the bore to 64.5 millimeters. Set that to 0. $64.5. Okay, that was a little rookie error there. I forgot that the inside diameter of the power bar is much smaller than the squat bar. So I basically just tried to take a monstrous cut. So I'll just fix that now and take a smaller cut. All right, I'll just see how the bushing fits. Okay, that's the same thing as before, where it fits at the start, but it's still a little bit tight where I've extended it. So I'll go ahead and take a little bit more off. Okay, that fits really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other sleeve now. All right, let's see if the bushing fits. Okay, that's perfect. Now we can cut the relief for the thrust bearing. And I realize now that I didn't do that on the other sleeve, so I'll have to go back and do that. Okay, this sleeve is now machined and ready to calibrate. We'll just throw the other one back in and make sure we machine that relief for the thrust bearing. Okay, now that we have all 4 sleeves machined correctly, we can now take them over to the calibrated scale so that we can calibrate the bars right on to 20 kilos for the power bar and 25 kilos for the squat bar. All right, sorry for the bad camera angle. Both of the cameras are kind of fixed semi-permanently to filming the lathe, but I've got the scale set up here now. I've just leveled it, so now we can go ahead and put all the pieces on. Squat bar shaft, 2 squat bar sleeves, 2 bearing lock nuts, grub screws, 2 thrust bearings, 4 bushings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 circlips, and 1 little thrust bearing, 2 little thrust bearings. Okay, so all of that comes to 25.62 kilos, which means I need to take off, actually it's 25.63 because it's jumping between 6.2 and 6.4, and it only measures in 20 gram increments. So I need to take off 315 grams from each collar so that the bar lands precisely on 25 kilos. So I'll just jump on the tablet now and work out how much I need to take off. Okay, so I need to take off exactly 10.5 millimeters from the diameter of both of the collars for the bar to land precisely on 25 kilos. Okay, I'm just going to take my boring bar out of the tool post now so that I can put in my chamfering tool. All right, and I'm also going to change this insert here from a 0.4 to a 0.8 corner radius, and also a slightly tougher grade since this is an interrupted cut. I am going to be doing quite a lot of passes. All right, so we've got our 0.8 corner radius insert put in there now, and I know that I need to take off 10.5 millimeters from the outside diameter. All right, so I've just set my 0 point so I know how much I'm taking off, and I'll be doing 1 millimeter passes off the diameter until I get almost all the way there. First, I'll set that to 10.5 since that's my finishing point. Three. Okay, now that the OD is machined, I can now chamfer all the edges. And then just hit the face with some sandpaper to make sure it looks beautiful. Now I'll just chamfer all of these tapped holes. And there we have our squat bar collar. Now it's calibrated. I'll chuck it on the scale and then we can do the other one. All right, let's chamfer that and then see how much the bar weighs. I say this every time, but I use the bronze hammer because the bronze hammer doesn't damage this groove that I put in the surface. Because the brass is very soft and this is extremely hard stainless steel. So it just leaves like a little, wherever it is. I mean, look, I can't even see where I hit it. I think it's right here. And as soon as I hit that with some terps or something, that'll come right off. All right, so I just cleaned it with some terps and my beautiful rags to show you guys what I mean. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. So that's collar number 2 calibrated. Okay, let's put this sleeve back on the scale. Shat myself there for a second because it said 24.64. I was like, what the fuck? I realized I don't have the end cap on the scale. End cap goes on and we're at 25.00 on the dot. Okay, that is the squat bar calibrated. I'm now going to put the power bar stuff on the scale and calibrate that. Okay, so rub screws, everything else is the same. Okay. Power bar shaft, power bar sleeves, and power bar bushings. So all of that comes to 20.3 kilos. So I need to take 150 grams off of each collar. Okay, this is the first time this has ever happened, but I have to take off 10.5 mil from the power bar collars as well. That's crazy. All right, let's chamfer those edges. Okay, and there is a power bar collar calibrated. Final collar that needs to be calibrated. I tipped my insert just then. It happens if I'm too fast as I exit the cut at the end. So I just need to be a bit more patient. So I'll go ahead and replace that tip and then continue. All right, let's chamfer those edges. that should be the power bar calibrated. There's a little bit of swarf stuck in the thread there. All right, and there we have final power bar collar calibrated. All right, let's see how we did. Need to put the end cap in. Nearly did the same thing. Okay, end cap goes on, and we are at 20 kilos on the dot. Let's go. That's 2 for 2. So that means the power bar and the squat bar are now ready to be assembled and packaged and delivered for CAPO States. Deadlift bar, I still need to do a bunch more work because I need to make a couple brand new sleeves just because I've run out of sleeves. But I got heaps of material, so that'll be cool. And you guys will get to see me doing a bunch of drilling. So cool, I'll see you when I do that.
Let's go, come on. Here we go, Brandon Murphy, 152.5. Absolutely right, well done. Final